Good morning and welcome to all your travelers out there. I am Francois from Bundu X Trails. Finally, we have come to the stage where we will be doing our bucket list Botswana solo trip. For the first time we will be going to Botswana. Solo trip, yes, solo in as far as we will only be one vehicle. That will be my wife and myself traveling alone, doing a decent proper round trip in Botswana through the Caprivi of Namibia, coming down on the left hand side of the Moremi Delta back on our way home. And we are looking forward to this trip. It's going to take place roughly in a month's time. We will be leaving home here in Cape Town from the 13th of June and returning on the 6th of July, sleeping out a total of 21 nights. Now, at this corner where I'm sitting, this is the hot spot where everything takes place. So obviously the first thing is that we have to do the planning for the trip. Now in doing so, we consulted various WEG magazines, the Tracks for Africa map, and we looked at videos from other travelers like some of you yourselves, and we decided, okay, let's do all the highlight areas on the first time that we will be going there. So we will most certainly avoid the serious Bundu bashing as we are going alone and we don't want to look for trouble. Now this video is sort of a prologue video before we actually go. It's all about the planning and the preparation, etc. And I will for sure make another video at the end of the trip, and then we will do a recap and see, okay, how far off or on the spot were we with our planning. Now if you are also a first timer who haven't been to Botswana, and you also have some concerns or questions, well, then I specifically invite you to go with me on this journey, because I'm most certainly going to share with you in terms of what we've planned, what we have experienced, where we were lacking, or whatever might happen to us on this trip. Anything can go wrong, right? So the planning phase, after consulting all these various magazines and information from friends and family, whoever we know who's been there, then I took the map here behind me, and I used Basecamp from Garmin, and I started plotting all the highlight places. Then I planned the route in between, and then one has to consider the distances between these places. If it's too far for a day's traveling, you have to find a place to sleep in between. And that is how you sort of feel your way through your route until you have completed it. Once you are satisfied with the actual route that you will be doing, then you need to make the bookings. Now, there are a couple of new things about Botswana. The country is going to be new to us. We've never been there. The border crossing is going to be new to us, with different requirements or restrictions perhaps. The currency is different. It's not like Namibia, 1 rand equals one Namibian dollar. So it's new. Botswana is not always so easy to do bookings, because the country is sort of divided up in different areas which is under control of different people. So I have a sister in Pretoria, and they've been to Botswana so many times. They know the place like the palm of their hands. So she recommended a place that I always use, and I'll share this with you, and it's a recommendation only. It's called Sandstone. They are based in Gaborone. Once you've completed your planning, your itinerary, you send it to them by email, and they will do all the bookings for you. They even did the bookings for us in the Caprivi strip in Namibia. Everything except within South Africa that we do ourselves for the guest houses traveling up and down. Listen, it was an absolute breeze. They did it, and they replied, confirmed that they got all the bookings that we wanted. There was only one exception on the very last return trip. We wanted to go to Mabua, we couldn't get, it was fully booked. So we just bypassed that. That was the only exception. And of course you will pay them a handling fee. They, I think they charge about 650 pull-up plus VAT for that. But listen, it's a breeze. I will strongly recommend you make use of these people. And if you want to, you can leave me a comment and I will gladly forward the information to you if you also want to make use of them. I can really highly recommend them. Okay, so once the planning was completed, and I will have another part of this video where I will show you exactly how I did the planning and the budgeting file, all the things that I did consider in setting up that file. I will gladly share that with you. It's just a recommendation. You can do your own thing, but perhaps you can take a leaf or two out of my book. So it's only my wife and myself that's traveling up. Now the vehicle that we have, it's a Nissan X-Trail. I've been traveling with that vehicle for a number of years now. I bought it second-hand, and believe me, this year it's 20 years old. It's a SUV, but it's a 2006 2.5 liter petrol automatic 4x4. It has a knob on the dash, and you can turn it on automatic, or you can lock it in 4x4. Sorry, auto 4x4, or you can lock it in 4x4. This car doesn't have all that fancy bells and whistles like hill assist and descent assist, and I mean, it doesn't even have a diff lock. But I've traveled with this vehicle. Sand dunes, sandy areas, rocky terrain. I've been going up such steep hills that even my 4x4 mate with his real 4x4 he couldn't believe it. So she takes me wherever I want to be. It's never failed me, it's never let me down. It's got 290,000 k's on the clock. Have I spent money on it? For sure I have. The automatic gearbox and the transfer case, both of them I had reconned completely. They are like new. The top gasket blue ones, I had it redone, and that was at about 230,000 k's. It's now 60,000 k's. After that and in between, I've done a couple of serious 4x4 routes, and she's running perfectly. The starter motor, I've reconned that as well, and the front suspension, most of your swing arms and stabilizing rods and stuff, I had it all replaced. So I think the most important part I have covered. Yes, I've also replaced the front shocks recently again. So she's in mint condition. She's never let me down, and we're going with her again. Oh, one interesting thing. Some years ago I imported from Russia, of all places, 30mm spacers, which I had installed on top of the shocks, and it raised the whole vehicle by 30mm. Now, it doesn't sound a lot, but it really makes a big difference. It's fantastic. Okay, then I have a camping trailer. It's a Bantam custom built trailer with 14-inch rims. So it's higher than your normal Fender trailers and stuff, with a tent on top of it, which you pitch down, if I can say it. It's got like a little house unit at the bottom with a ladder and a double bed on top. Fantastic. We've been using it for a couple of years already, and I'm really happy with it. It does everything we want to, and in the trailer, of course, we pack all our goodies, all the tables and chairs, sleeping stuff is in there, blankets and so forth. And I've got two 20-liter petrol containers that I will take with. This time I'm not going to take an extra spare wheel with, because we're not going to go and do serious 4x4 excursions. Then as far as technology is concerned, The video camera that is filming me currently is a Firefly 8 SE. It's like a GoPro, the same kind of a camera. This thing is fantastic. Listen, it's got slow motion, you can do time lapse, you can do video up to 4K. I normally shoot at 108p because then it has image stabilization at that level. You can do photos up to 12 meg photos. The price of this thing is normally about 2,000 Rand compared to a GoPro, which is like 8,000 Rand. Currently this unit is on special for about 1,400 Rand. You can get it from AliExpress or Banggood or Temu or some of those places if you Google a Firefly 8 SE. You get it with two lenses, 170 degree, which I didn't buy because it gives you a fisheye sort of a feeling, and no, I bought the 90 degree angle one. Then my other camera is a Sony RX10 IV. Pretty expensive. I paid 30,000 for this camera, but this is called a bridge camera, and it has a 24 to 600 millimeter lens. This thing can do everything. However, interestingly, this fancy camera doesn't have time lapse. I couldn't believe it. But other than that, video, whatever you want to do, you can do it with this camera. So no interchanging of lenses and stuff. You just pick up and you shoot. Okay. I also have a drone which I will be taking with. I'll see if I'll use it because many places are restricted. You're not allowed to use your drone and so on. I have a one that gives me about 30-minute flying time. I'll see. I'll take it with, but I'll see if I take some photos with it. Anyway, hi there. I'm now interrupting my own video. I just had a haircut and my beard trimmed a little bit, and then I realized I forgot to mention the following. This is call it the trail camera, which you can set up and it can record for like 6 months plus. And I've used this in Namibia once, and it's a very handy little camera, and I'm going to be using this, of course, in Botswana outside our tent to see what happens during the night while we are asleep. Now this, of course, in daytime it's color, at nighttime it uses infrared, and it's got a sensor at the bottom, so it's a motion detect one, and it only records when it detects something. Very nice gadget, and believe me, pretty cheap. I bought this one from Temu at about 350 Rand, delivered at my doorstep. I mean, what more can you ask for? Really cheap. So also I would suggest that you get yourself one of this, then you don't miss out on the nightlife with animals around your tent pipes. Okay folks, I just want to show you our camping trailer. It's a custom built Bantam trailer. It has 14-inch rims, and therefore it gives us a higher ground clearance. Now we have a 10-coat tent mounted on top of the trailer, which pitches down to this side, and then you have like a little house here with a ladder, and on top here you have a double bed on which we sleep. It's very nice. Okay, now I want to show you our electrical setup. Here I have a 150 watt solar panel, and I have mounted it on wooden battens, of which I have rounded the edges, because this panel goes on top of the trailer facing upwards. So while we're driving in the day, it charges the battery inside here, and the battens, because they are rounded, they do not damage the cover of our tent, which is important because there's a lot of movement and bouncing up and down, especially if you're going on corrugated roads. It's a nice strong solar panel, 150 watts, not a little 80 watt jobby, so it fairly quickly charges the battery. Now I want to show you the electrical side of things. Now the output of the panel goes in here on an Anderson plug, and it then feeds into this nose cone compartment. It goes into a solar charger here, which charges the battery. Now this battery is a motor car battery, similar to the one that I have in my X-Trail. The reason why it's similar, if I do have a breakdown with the vehicle battery, I have a replacement unit, and it has happened in Namibia once, so it's really convenient and rather necessary to have the same kind of a battery. This battery I use to power our fridge during the night and other electrical appliances. I have here a 6,000 watt, it's a 6 kilowatt 12 volt DC to 230 volt AC inverter, which is a converter here. The output is on the side here with a electrical plug and a switch. Now, one important thing is women like to have their hair done in the mornings, and they need a blow dryer, hair dryer. You know the saying, happy wife, happy man. So in the mornings, my wife can simply plug in her hair dryer and she can dry her hair in the morning. Very nice and convenient. We also have, and this is also something I would like to suggest to you, we also have a single plate induction stove. Now in the past I have tried using it, but previously I only had a 4 kilowatt inverter, and it was just switching on and off. It couldn't handle the induction plate. I've since then now swapped it out with a 6001, and on this trip we're going to try it out. Now that induction plate is a fantastic item to have. You see, I have here a normal gas stove, single plate. However, if you camp at spots where you do have electric power, then we always use the induction plate. And believe me, that thing is super fast. It's much quicker than a gas stove. The other advantage that it does have is the fact that when it's a windy day perhaps, then you have hassles with your gas burner, not with the induction plate. And it's easy to clean. It's got a glass top, so it's simple to maintain. And also my wife bought a plastic container from a plastic warehouse, and it just fits in there precisely, and we just put it in bubble wrap for protection. Okay, so this is basically the electric layout that we have, and this is ample for our needs. The last thing perhaps I want to show you is this little toilet that we have here. Now this OG is very small, and it goes inside our tent, which is pitched down here. We put it in the corner, and we only use it for number one during the night time. Now this is very nice, because if you do wild camping and there are wild animals and stuff outside which could be dangerous, then we use that thing during the night, so we don't have to go outside.
Here we have a picture of our vehicle and trailer showing the solar panel on top of the tent, and then when it is pitched, how it looks like. And then the last one showing the position of the fridge, which is on the back seat behind me as a driver. Okay, the next, which is probably the last part I will show you, is the actual planning that we do with base camp and the budgeting file. Now once you have decided your route and which places you will be visiting, then I normally use Basecamp from Garmin, which you can download for free. I have recently bought Tracks for Africa, the latest version, and of course uploaded into Basecamp. So as you can see here, this is the route that we will be traveling through Botswana to Caprivi, Namibia, and coming down here back home. So let us take by example on the left the first number A here, where it says home to Elsass. Now Elsass is a guest house in Bridgetown, so that will be our first day of traveling. So if I highlight it, you will see now it is highlighted here at the bottom. And if you double click on this, it brings up this menu, and if you select the second option here which says route directions, like that. Now you see it gives you the total distance that you will be traveling as well as the average traveling time. Just note this traveling time excludes stoppages for fuel or having coffee or something along the road. Now obviously the whole route for the holiday is divided up here on the, as you can see on the left hand side, in various sections. So getting that information from here, I then take this information and I carry it over to an Excel spreadsheet like here, and again I list all those route sections here with the associated kilometers, the duration of travel, and then I have here the number of nights that we will be staying over at the various locations, as well as the dates. So this is basically like an itinerary. Okay, here I have the cost of guest houses within South Africa in rand value, and then I have here a total figure for Botswana and Namibia. Okay, if you then take this distances and you add them up, you get a total of 6,724 kilometers. But please do note the last entry here is driving around in areas, and I allowed another 500 kilometers for driving around. Okay, so that is included, and I get the total kilometers. Then knowing your average fuel consumption of your particular vehicle, in my case I use 8.5 kilometers to the liter, I can simply divide that into the kilometers, giving me a total of 791 liters. And then in this case I used 27 rand per liter for fuel cost, giving me a total value of 21,359 rand. Then the accommodation cost is just below here, the 23,266. And then please note there are other costs, of course. What I've allowed here is a 1 day visit to the Victoria Falls from Kasane, and we will be making use of a shared shuttle service, because then you don't have all the hassles taking your own vehicle and all the border crossing and vehicle costs, etc. So I think it is much easier to do it this way. And then below that I also have here a sunset cruise, and these costs here just on the left hand side, these are the costs for 2 people like my wife and myself. Then below this I have border fees for entering Botswana, and please, this is a good suggestion to you. You will see here I have multiple entry. If you are only going into Botswana and coming back, you don't need a multiple entry permit. However, in our case, going into Botswana, then into Namibia and coming back into Botswana, if you do not apply for a multiple entry at your first entry point, you are simply going to pay all these costs again. And you will see here the border fees include road safety fund, road fund tax, third-party insurance, and depending on the size of your trailer, you will also pay a fee for your trailer. Below this, in our particular case, going into Namibia, on the northern side of Botswana, I have also listed here the cost per vehicle and for the trailer. Then another important thing you must not forget is here you will see I have malaria pulse, Mozitec, and how you calculate the number of pills that you need. You do it as follows. A day before you enter the malaria area, you should start taking a pill, and from the last day that you exit the malaria area, you need to take for 7 days the pill as well. So you can therefore calculate the number of pills that you need. In our particular case, I have tried to limit it to the minimum, but it will be 20 pils per person, times 2 is 40, and the cost is roughly 800 Rand for 20 pils, times 2 is this 1,600 Rand. And now the final amount at the bottom here, you can see the budgeted value for our holiday, which includes the traveling, with other words, the petrol, the accommodation fees, border fees, a visit to Big Falls, doing a sunset cruise on the Chobe River, the malaria pulse, gives me 52,273. Now you will see this excludes food cost, because when you stay at home you will eat, if you go on holiday you will eat and drink. However, I do realize that you may add a couple of Rand extra because you're on holiday. Okay, so folks, just remember, this is a recommendation. We all have our own way of planning our trips and doing our budgeting, but this works for me. I do it every time. I've done it for the last 16 years, and I will continue to do it in this way. And of course, at the end of the holiday, when we return home, I then actually take the actual cost and I compare it to my budgeted amounts to see how far I am off or how accurate I have been. Normally, as far as the fuel consumption is concerned, I'm pretty much close on the correct value, within about 200 Rand or so. So I can sort of say this is fairly accurate. So at least this gives you an idea in 2026 what it will cost for a 22-night visit to Botswana and for a short while in Namibia as well. I hope this serves you well, and you can perhaps take a page out of my book, but enjoy planning your own trip.